My patient John had just turned 88. He pressed his face to the window and he said, "I wish he would come here now, but he isn't here. Where is he?" Oh, what's the use? When active seniors stop doing the things that they are used to, the first thing that healthcare professionals like myself are to look at the physical symptoms. I discovered that the physical things that we see are a sign and symptom of something greater. It can be easy to understand how seniors can be at a greater risk of isolation, depression, and dementia. Health issues and decline are increasing in these seniors who are already socially isolated. 25% of adults over age 65 are actually socially isolated and are at a risk for increased chronic diseases. But what you may not know and may not realize is that with over 14 million isolated seniors, the U.S. Census reports over 35 million Americans live alone. But less than 5 years ago, 40% of younger people in the U.S. reported isolation. Currently now, more than 60% have feelings of disconnection and loneliness, according to a Cigna insurance report. And according to the American Institute of Stress, negative attitudes, helplessness, and hopelessness are feelings that can increase, and a cycle of social isolation can occur. Now, all statistics aside, as a practitioner and a communication strategist, I have seen the impact on the elderly, especially, who live in a together yet alone world. Now, when a person has few people to interact with, as many seniors do, they are at a risk of social isolation. However, social isolation may be impacting more than just seniors. Now, day in and day out, I also have been leading workshops, coaching and advising people about issues concerning connection and communication. I noticed the growing link between declining communication skills and the feelings of social isolation. People report to me that they aren't happy, they don't feel safe, and they aren't or can't speak to connect and communicate with others. Many actually withdraw from the activities that they used to do, and those opportunities dry up. It is a fair assumption that elderly, of course, are the most at risk due to physical and mental decline, but no one is immune. When we are apart from others, we become unable to connect, creating a cycle of unhappiness and health issues. Today, I want to share with you some simple ways that I found that we can reduce the effects of social isolation. I work with people to develop a strategy that supports a life with connections and meaning, which is essential for our well-being. Being able to say what is meaningful can be important at the right time. Learning what to say, how to say it, is an essential skill not only for our personal success, but for our ties to the world in which we live. Our humanness is created by the meaning and authentic communication connections to others as we communicate. Now, declining communication skills are actually created in behavioral changes that we see in the brain, especially in two areas, the temporal lobe and the prefrontal cortex. Those structures are responsible for our memory, our decision-making, and social behavior. Brain chemicals required for that personal connection to others are actually reduced when we stay isolated. And there's a couple of things that we need to be aware of that are helping to change this brain hardwiring, creating additional disconnection, stress, and isolation. Number one, I believe that we are all unlearning the rules of communication. Unlearning is the replacement of something with something else. Now, the brain is a problem-solving tool and likes the input from others. we have replaced our present and focused attention and those nonverbal messages which provide us with subtle, authentic, meaningful communication. And you know what we've replaced it with? Technology. Technology-dependent, superficial communication that reduces our ability to connect with others. When we aren't connecting, we stay separated from others. And when we don't use our skills in whatever it is, we tend to lose them. When we are face to face, there's an emotional connection and it's strengthened, and that subtle information that we receive is supported from our body language, and as well as the physical nearness. That connection helps us to feel like there are people that care about us. And with the increased use of digital devices, rules that we used to keep and end communication, those special rules that only we talk when we have a communication conversation, they've even changed. Even our children are at risk for these changes in how they make friends and how they speak with one another, let alone with us. When we can stay attentive and focused on the other person, we signal our intents when we're speaking and whether we're maintaining or leaving a communication conversation. Second, we are developing a need for speed. The reliance on technology is even changing those skills. We have sped up everything, even the information that's coming into us. We may need to quickly process and respond to the many messages and emails and social communications and texts. And that requires keeping the amount of information incoming very superficial. Now, reliance on social media for messages of perfection, those lovely little emojis and pseudo friends that don't really care, do not really convey personal connection. Research studies from Robert Cialdini have indicated that most college students are even so dependent on digital media that they're unable to leave their phones off for a weekend, let alone probably a day, without creating fears of social isolation and not being connected. Digital communication is so reinforcing that we are reducing our communication times and amounts, reducing to that isolation. We're actually drawn to authentic messages where we can express deeper emotion and connection. Now, research tells us that communication, including facial recognition, other physical symptoms, are really central to our happiness, our clarity, and even our productivity. How we were designed is as social beings, and it's been altered, adding to our social isolation. Now, unfortunately, it's taken 18 to 24 months to make these changes that are said to shape the next 2 to 4 decades. How successful we are at adapting to those variety of changes have been the thrust upon us. Well, it's critical to our very survival as a group. From seniors to younger people, technology is creating conditions that could alter human-to-human contact and communication for years to come, adding to our social isolation. Now, if we can begin by being aware of these changes and we can start to reach out to others with communication connections that are frequent and deep and meaningful, the social isolation feeling will be reduced. Obviously, the things like health, taking sleep, doing those things are all important. But if we can reduce our hardwiring of our social nature, we can celebrate and reduce the connection and isolation in the world. When we reach out to others, when we take care of our physical, mental, spiritual, and other skills in our own bodies, we also start to feel like we can reach out and develop those communication connections. What if you decided today to make those human connections that are so important? What if you decided to make others a priority and reduce everyone's social isolations? And finally, what if you had the courage to make authentic communications work, to provide meaning, to feel happier, and to connect so that you live longer? What if you decided to risk it? I'm Dr. Julie, and I have enjoyed presenting this message that is an idea worth sharing. Thank you.